Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bullspit Pod. I am your host, Cash Bolin. I look forward to diving into the Stampede days this coming weekend, August 16th through 18th, a 3-day event, 12 action-packed games. We are going to dive into each one of those and make some game picks, even though I wanted to get this out yesterday, but I didn't have time because I've been mulling over these decisions on these game picks. Some really big matchups going on. Of course, we'll jump into our top 5 team power rankings, top 5 rider power rankings, and then we're going to get into our top 3 matchups, or we're probably going to do 5. There really is so many good games. Going to be the best weekend by far, in my opinion. Let's get to it. Real quick, guys, before we get too far on this podcast, I had to give a shout out to Rough Hand. Check out this beauty. I'm a Longhorn fan. Sue me. Got the bigger, better, of course, Texas pride, baby. And on the inside there, yeah, what's that? Oh, that's a little slot to keep a picture of your buckle bunny. Or your wife, or whatever you want to call her. Your side piece. Check out Rough Hand. Beautiful hat, especially if you're a Texas fan, but they got a number of beautiful colors. Beautiful. Look at that. Statement piece is what I say. Y'all check them out at Rough Hand. I'll put them down in the comments. Of course, we have to start out with our storylines. Let's touch base on what's happening this week. The New York Mavericks showed up in the Big Apple in front of their home crowd. They get 2 big wins. They are jockeying for position. They were in last place for most of the season. Now they're up to tied for 6th place. They got some momentum on their side and hopefully continue to start getting healthy and a lot of their players back. Cody Lostro has those guys rolling. They are no slouch. This is a team that you're going to have to count for to make rides now. The first 3 weeks, they had 6 rides. Last weekend, they had 4 rides. So almost getting their season total in 1 week there. See if they can continue that momentum. They had a big weekend last weekend. Of course, Carolina is still undefeated. They do have that one tie, but they get a win last week in New York. Continue 7-0-1 on the season. They have some tough matchups this weekend. They're going to be going off against the Stampede and the Gamblers, just to name a couple. And let's see if they get their first loss. I think they do. I think that maybe something finally takes a toll on them. It's going to be a tough weekend for them. We'll touch on more in a little bit with their matchups. And our MVP race is heating up. John Crimber still holds true at number 1. He is putting up the rides. But Jose Vitor Leme, Cooper Davis, people like Alan De Sosa, are breathing down his neck. Don't forget Sage Kimzey also. Those vets are coming. They're coming hot. They're consistent. They've been here. They've done this. Let's see if John Crimber can hold them off. This should be a really fun MVP race this season. And of course, we still have people that have plenty of time to make a statement, really get on a roll and vault themselves up into the conversation also. People such as Colton Hevelo, Casio Diaz, Keyshawn Whitehorse, Dalton Castle hasn't even been healthy this year. Sandro Batista has been amazing for the Outlaws. It really is an exciting time. Tune into that and start keeping track of those rider scores and standings. And let's see what kind of drama we can have going on this season. The team power rankings starting out at number 5. We're going with the Oklahoma Wildcatters. 4-4-1 on the season. They showed up in New York, had 1 loss to start it out, and then they were kind of gone. See if they can get back, show up, get ready to ride some bulls. They have 2 matchups this weekend against the Outlaws and the Thunder. 2 winnable games, but two hard opponents that are going to be making rides. See if Oklahoma can get back to their winning ways. At number 4, we have Casio Diaz and the Kansas City Outlaws. Actually, maybe I should say Sandro Batista and the Kansas City Outlaws. Sandro Batista has done great for them, even closing out last weekend for them. They are 5-4 on the season. They got a couple tough matchups this weekend against the Wildcatters and the Outlaws. They don't want to get left behind. They're right up there in the thick of things. Casio Diaz is on a buck-off streak of 6 straight, which is a little bit unusual for him, but honestly not that big a deal for most riders. I'm sure he'll get back on track. Colton Hevelo's been putting some rides together. Sandro Batista, again, has been their guy this year. He's in the top 10 of the MVP standings. I look forward to them jumping back on track and hopefully putting up some big points. At number 3, we have our hometown team for this weekend, the Nashville Stampede. They lost two weekends ago in Florida. They went to last weekend in New York. Now they're at home. Can they continue that momentum? They're going to have some really tough matchups. They're going to go against the Cowboys on night 1 from Carolina. They got the Ridge Riders of Arizona on night 2, and the New York Mavericks, the new up-and-coming team, on night 3. I hope that they, their vets are going to hold true for them. Alan De Sosa, Savano Alves, Cody Teal has been putting together some really good rides. Emilio Almedes has been putting together a lot of rides, usually in their starting position. We'll see. Can they get a little bit more from Cody Jesus, recent addition last week? And people like Jess Lockwood, former champion, see if they can get back to their old winning ways. I hope big things for them. I still don't know with this team. It's back and forth. Hopefully, they can cement themselves this weekend. At number 2 in our power rankings, we are going with the Austin Gamblers. They have been putting together a winning streak of 4 or 5 now. Jose Vitor Leme has been unstoppable. He's riding everything out. Ramon de Lima, Ezekiel Mitchell, Callum Miller, they're all chiming in, making sure that they're getting their piece of the pie. Dalton Castle returns this week after last week off. He didn't travel with them to New York, so hopefully a little downtime for him. He'll recuperate, and he'll be back in their starting position this weekend. Really looking forward to them. They get started with the Freedom on Friday, the Cowboys on Saturday, and the Outlaws on Sunday. 3 really great firework matchups. All of those are going to be something you want to tune into. I look for Dalton Castle to return and then continue that momentum. Sitting at 5-3 on the year and the number 2 in our power rankings. And still number 1 in our power rankings, the Carolina Cowboys. Again, yet to have a loss on their record. 7-0-1 this season. They're going to have some big games this week. I think somebody's finally going to get done against them, but that's just the nature of the business. It's not because they're bad. It's not because somebody's going to do something wrong. They're not going to ride any bulls. I think one of these teams is just going to put up in a fight. They got the Stampede in the home crowd on Friday night to close things out. The Gamblers on Saturday, which is going to be a huge matchup, again, with Dalton Castle returning and their hot streak. And then the Florida Freedom, if y'all remember their first matchup, that when these two competed, put up huge numbers. I believe it was 430 plus to 340 plus score. It was amazing. Probably the best game of the year so far. We'll see if they can replicate that. It's going to be tough. They're going to be tired, but they do have the vets to get it done. Those guys are mentally tough and physically tough. They know what they're doing. They know how to take care of their bodies, and they know how to ride bulls, most importantly. So Carolina still at number 1, 7-0-1 on the season. Really impressive start. We'll see if they can continue that success. Let's jump into our top 5 rider power rankings leading into the Stampede days this weekend. At number 5, he's somebody I've already touched on a couple times this podcast, and deservingly so. Put some respect on Sandro Batista's name. That guy has showed up big time for the Outlaws. You look at the start of their season, they have the PBR reigning champion and Casio Diaz, Colton Hevelo, who was an amazing had an amazing UTB season. We hope that continued. He was in their starting spot. He's had some hiccups here and there. Casio Diaz on a buck-off streak of 6 straight. But Sandro Batista has been their guy. He moved to the closing role to help boost his confidence and also just give Casio a little bit of a change of pace. But he has held things down for them. Big-time scores, riding in the shootout for them. I look forward to him continuing his success. And if Casio and Colton can jump on that, look out for the Outlaws. Sandro Batista coming in at number 5 in our power rankings this week. At number 4, we have old reliable Alan De Sosa. He has been everything for the Stampede this year, I feel. He has continued to put up rides in their matchups. He's the one that's always jumping at the shootout rides and has gotten many rides in that and a couple of wins for the Stampede. He's up to number 4 in our power rankings. He's climbing up the MVP standings also. You just got to have respect for that guy. He just has his cowboy hat, bears down and rides bulls. And he has fun doing it. He's getting older, but he is enjoying this. Great for Alan De Sosa, number 4 in our power rankings. At number 3 in our rider power rankings, we are discussing Cooper Davis. He has been at near the top of these power rankings and the MVP standings all year. He is the starter for the Carolina Cowboys. And like we had talked about before, what a great luxury to have Cooper Davis to be able to put in the opening spot. He goes out there, gives you 88, 89 point rides, and that's hard to recover from. It's already putting the other team before they even have an out down that big. It's not just another ride. It's another good qualified ride that is, going to have a little bit of extra to be able to keep up with them. He's done amazing. He's had a great tenure here in the PBR and great success. He continues that. And he's at number 3 in our power rankings this week. At number 2 in our power rankings, maybe a bit of a surprise. John Crimber. Should he be number 1? Yeah, probably. No fault of his own. That guy's rode everything out this year, I feel like. He did not ride on Saturday, which cost them a win. He's going to put a lot of pressure on himself. He's going to be back, and he's going to put up some big points this week. But at number 1, we have to go with the multiple-time PBR world champion, Jose Vitor Leme, the leader, the captain of the Austin Gamblers. He's on a hot streak. He is riding everything. If you go out there and ask any coach, any GM, any CEO, if you could take one person right now to ride a bull, Jose Vitor Leme is going to be in that conversation and probably be picked more times than not. He's a vet. He's old, reliable. He is continuing his winning ways in the individual season or the team series. He's big time. He's a special guy. I look forward to him to continue leading the Gamblers. He's at number 1 in our power rankings. He is at number 2 in the MVP standings, but we'll see how long that lasts. Now's the fun part. We get to the game picks. We are 16, 15, and 1 on the season. We had a rough go of it last week. I really dove into these. It's going to be another rough week. They are some amazing matchups, and really the quality and the depth of these teams make for every matchup. Everybody can win. That's what it feels like. Unless it may be against the Cowboys right now, everybody has a chance against everybody. Friday night, we get started with a banger. The Florida Freedom versus the Austin Gamblers. Again, Dalton Castle returns. This is going to be, it could be, I think this is more on the Freedom. I'm maybe not as secure in my feelings about the Freedom. A little bit inconsistent. Caden Bunch has to be more consistent for them and pick up some big rides. He's in that opening position for them for a reason. He has to get points. He cannot have them playing from behind too many more times. You got to get more from Elzamar Jeremias. He had a great start to the year, has fizzled out a little bit. I bet he gets back to his ways. Thiago Salgado, Joao Lucas Campos, he's been putting up some rides for them, but it really all boils down to John Crimber. If he rides, they have a chance. If he doesn't, they don't, honestly. I don't know if they win many matchups this year that John Crimber doesn't ride. I'm giving the edge to the Gamblers because of Dalton Castle's return. You got Ezekiel Mitchell, Ramon de Lima, Lucas Davino going to put up some points hopefully. And of course, they're going to close out with Jose Vitor Leme. I really hope it comes down to John Crimber and Jose to close it out with the game on the line. That's going to be special. Number 1 and number 2 in our power rankings. This is going to be my number 2 matchup for the weekend. I'm giving the edge to the Gamblers. Matchup number 2 for Friday night, the Missouri Thunder versus the Arizona Ridge Riders. These teams are pretty comparable. Again, everybody can beat everybody. I feel like I want to give the edge to the Thunder in this one, though. The Ridge Riders are on a decline. They really started the year off hot. They dropped down to 6 in the standings. The Missouri Thunder, they put up a big fight against the Gamblers last weekend. They're starting to get rides. I really hope Briggs Madsen stays in these lineups. Of course, Felipe Furlon and Grayson Cole, Boudreaux Campbell, they got to add in some stuff here, of course, if they want to beat the Ridge Riders. The Ridge Riders, Keyshawn Whitehorse has not found success as much lately, and he was really that mainstay for them. See if Roberto Aparecido can continue riding like he did last weekend. Nick Tetz needs to get in there. Of course, they have Bruno Cavallo, and we'll see. But I'm going to give the edge to the Thunder this weekend in a close one. Matchup number 3 on Friday night pits the Oklahoma Wildcatters versus the Kansas City Outlaws. Two teams really looking for a statement win, and this could be it. Oklahoma Wildcatters, again, had a one-and-done last week in New York. They need to get back to their winning ways. I did see some of their riders pick up some wins this week on the way home. Kansas City Outlaws, Casio Diaz is going to ride sooner than later. If Colton Hevelo can add in Sandro Batista, Brendan Eldred, they can put up big points. This is a really close one for me. I'm back and forth. I'm going to go with the Oklahoma Wildcatters. Something about the Outlaws, Casio Diaz not riding, is a little eerie to me. I'm giving it to the Wildcatters on Friday night. And to close out night number 1, this is going to be our number 4 matchup of the weekend. The Nashville Stampede in front of their home crowd against the undefeated Carolina Cowboys. Hopefully Nashville shows up and shows out for them like New York did last week and really give them that extra motivation. The fans make a difference. Stampede get 2 wins last week. They're going to try to continue that success against the Cowboys. I'm going to give the edge to the Cowboys in another close one. The Stampede do have the riders. They have the vets to get this done. But I believe still that the Carolina Cowboys are going to ride more bulls. Cowboys win a close one on Friday night. After a heck of a slate on Friday night, we get Saturday starting hot again. My number 1 matchup for this weekend, the Carolina Cowboys versus the Austin Gamblers. Hopefully both teams at full strength have their full team and their best guys out there riding the best bulls. This could be a big time score. Maybe a little bit biased. I'm really hoping Dalton Castle can make a difference for them. I'm going with the Gamblers to beat the Carolina Cowboys on Saturday in the opening matchup, giving them their first loss. Let's see how this turns out. It's going to be fireworks. You have the best of the best in the world now, the best of the best in the world from the past. The coaches, they know what they're doing. 2 former champions. It's going to be exciting, good stuff, good fan bases. See if the Gamblers can get it done on Saturday. Our second matchup on Saturday, the New York Mavericks versus the Texas Rattlers. Former reigning PBR Team Series champion in the Rattlers versus expansion team New York Mavericks. When you probably looked at this at the beginning of the year, it might have looked a little different. Now, the Rattlers are sitting in last place in the standings. That's a little bit scary. We'll see if they can get some more consistency. They make the trade for Mason Taylor. He's yet to make a ride for them. See if he can get in on things. Of course, João Ricardo Rivera and other guys, looking to make an impact on the team. Daniel Keeping is still in the closing position. He's a Cowboy. He's going to start getting some rides for them. Brady Fielder, Brady Olson, they have to make an impact. The Mavericks, on the other hand, they have won 2 in a row now. They sit at a tie for 6th in the standings. They're starting to get some rides. I see them continuing that success, but the Rattlers are in desperation mode right now. Cody Lambert's going to have those guys ready. I'm giving the Rattlers the edge over the Mavericks on Saturday. Next matchup on Saturday is going to be the Oklahoma Wildcatters versus the Missouri Thunder. 2 very comparable teams. I do think the Wildcatters are better. Missouri Thunder put up fights, and they could get rolling at any time now. But I'm going to give the edge to the Wildcatters on Saturday because of their mix of veteran and young superstar talent. J.B. Mooney has those guys ready more than not. Eduardo Matos has been a big-time rider for them this year. I'm going to give the edge to the Wildcatters. And to close out Saturday night, hometown crowd will be supporting the Nashville Stampede as they take on the Arizona Ridge Riders. Cowboys are going to probably beat Stampede on Friday, but there's no way Stampede are going to lose 2 in a row. This is me picking against the Ridge Riders for the second game. That could be scary. I'm going to give the edge to the Stampede on this one. In front of their home crowd, the vets get it done. Our number 2 matchup on Sunday pits Florida Freedom versus Carolina Cowboys in a rematch of the game of the year, in my opinion, back in the early part of the season. Those teams both put up huge numbers, covering anything that walked, I felt like, that day. The Mavericks haven't been as consistent as we want them to. Carolina's number 1 for a reason and the favorites for a reason. I feel like their vets get it done again, cover more bulls, and it's going to be close, but the Cowboys get it done on Sunday. Matchup number 3 on Sunday is going to be our number 5 matchup of the weekend. Kansas City Outlaws versus Austin Gamblers. 2 heavy hitters. This is going to be another great matchup that you want to be tuned in for. You want to see this stuff live. They do a great job on the broadcast of entertaining the fans. It's like nothing. No other sport is like it. Fight me on it. You ain't gonna win. Outlaws, they need Casio Diaz to start making some rides before it gets too late. Sandro Batista will be there. Colton Hevelo will be there. But the Gamblers with Dalton Kessel, Kaique Pacheco, Jose Vitor Leme, they have this trio of guys, the big three as they call it. I think they get it done on Sunday night. Gamblers beat the Outlaws. And to close things out in Nashville on Sunday, the New York Mavericks versus the Nashville Stampede. Two teams that are both kind of on the up and up right now. They go 2-0 last weekend and pick up some big wins. The Stampede in front of their home crowd. I'm hoping Nashville shows up. Obviously, plenty of country people around, real or not, I don't know. But at least hopefully they show up and support their Nashville Stampede. I'm going to give the edge to the Stampede over the Mavericks on Sunday to close it out. Well, guys, I'm telling you, you better tune in to Merritt Street Media this weekend, 8 p.m. Central Time on Friday and Saturday. Of course, 2 p.m. Central Time on Sunday. They will have the game of the week on CBS at 12 p.m., I believe. Get as many matchups as you can. This is something, once you watch it once, I guarantee you're going to watch it again. PBR Team Series is on the up and up. We have some great riders, some great teams, great organizations, and I hope Nashville really shows up for them and we can have another great weekend. Of course, always follow me on Bullspit Pod on TikTok, Bullspit Podcast on YouTube, Bullspit_podcast on Instagram, Cash Bolin on Facebook. Like, share, comment, share your suggestions, and let's get this thing going. I look forward to getting out to some events here soon. Let me know. Would y'all want some interviews with riders, interviews with stock contractors, or interviews with other people in the industry? Look forward to growing this with you in the bull industry. It's big time right now. I'm excited, and we will talk again soon. Till then, see you later.